Mix us up, Batman. Gotham City's most vile supervillains, including the Joker, the Penguin, the Riddler, and Catwoman, unleash a plan to take over the city. Ultimately, the world. Armed with the diabolical replica ray, the Batman clones running around, the real Batman falls under a spell that turns him bad. Can Robin the Boy Wonder, with a little help from the dubious Catwoman, set Batman straight and free Gotham City from the clutches of this fiendish felony? Find out now. Same channel. Yeah, by far that was the worst impression of William Dozier to ever be hurled. So boring and so bland. Welcome to another review, as I'm going to be covering the amazing love letter to 60s Batman, Batman Return of the Caped Crusaders, which stars the late great Adam West, Burt Ward, and of course the original Catwoman herself, Julie Newmar, with newcomers William Sailors as the Penguin, Jeff Bergman voicing the Joker and the announcer, and of course one of my favorite Riddler voices of all time, next to John Glover, that being the amazing Wally Wingert, who expertly voiced the Riddler in Arkham Origins, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. He comes here and does a pretty damn good Frank Gorshin Riddler, but also brings his own little thing to the table, which I like a lot. So yeah, let's waste no time. Let's talk about this movie. I love it. Amazing. So good. As someone who's a big fan of like 60s Batman, watching this I got so hyped with that opening montage itself, where you see Batman and Robin and the villains fade into like their first, appearance on the comic book covers, which I thought was really, really cool. Like they used Bookworm as Batman's first cover appearance, and then of course you see the Catwoman segue to her first cover appearance. You see Robin segue into his first cover appearance, where he comes like busting out of the wall or something like that. You see the Riddler's first cover appearance, how Penguin, how he's riding the giant ostrich. So yeah, that whole opening montage, as a fan of not only just books but this as well, was beautiful. I loved it. Set the tone for the rest of this movie. That this is going to be a fan-made love letter. And you know what? It was. Hearing Adam West voice Batman again was great. Whatever he sounds aged, but it's fucking Adam West playing a version of Batman again. And you got Burt Ward voicing Robin again. At first, hearing Burt Ward's age voiced as teenage Dick Grayson is a little jarring at first, but as the movie progresses, you got the sense of that of that old kid again when the movie really got going. So that was great. Julie Newmar as Catwoman, always seductive. Even so, of course, again, her voice sounded aged, and at first it's a little jarring hearing like her age voice with Catwoman's the way Catwoman's designed. But again, as the movie goes on, you get assimilated to it, and it doesn't bother you as much. Now for the newcomers, William Saylor does a really good Penguin. Jeff Bergman does his best as the Joker. He's no Cesar Romero, but you know what? I give the man credit for being entertaining because Jeff Bergman was a really good Joker. And also, but his William Dozier impersonation to me was picture perfect, spot on. I loved his little tribute as William Dozier as the announcement when he was doing the announcing. And of course, Wally Wingert, as I said, was awesome as the Riddler. I love Wally Wingert. He's one of my favorite voice actors. One of my favorite voice actors when it comes to Riddler, also as in general, and he kills it. And he does an awesome Frank Gorshin. He channels that maniacal Frank Gorshin Riddler to the T. Not the more homicidal, subdued Riddler that I think from the Arkham games, which I thought was great. He was able to differentiate the two Riddlers, which was phenomenal. Because you can't bring that Arkham Riddler into something like this because it just doesn't gel with the tone of this kind of a movie and this kind of Batman. Because this is a more campy, zany Batman. Speaking of which, They brought back the pop bubbles in this movie, which was awesome. I loved it. It was so good. This movie also has tons of Easter eggs. I mean, tons of Easter eggs. Uh, like it, we have a lot of stuff from like the original Batman movie that Adam West was in, which served as like a which was like a pilot for like a second season or something like that. Of course, if you remember that movie, Penguin used like a dehydration ray, which turned like people into like molecules, like the dust molecules. They kind of sort of bring that back with the replica ray. When your molecules become unstable, you turn to dust. So it's like a nice callback to that. They do a callback to Batman '89, when Batman turns evil and he goes out to attack the villains. He's like, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." And they also throw in a little Dark Knight Returns Frank Miller, where you tell Riddler, "This is the operating table, and I am the surgeon." Hearing Adam West say these things as a darker, more evil Batman was awesome. So good. Loved every minute of it. And of course, the movie also did the whole sexual tension and romance between Catwoman and Batman that was always hinted at the show. The movie brings that in here too. That also brings the teenage angst that Robin has for Catwoman, which was also pretty funny. When Robin gives Catwoman knockout gas, she's like, "Keep your hands to yourself," and Robin does a little face. I was like, "Oh," so I was like, again, so much good stuff in this movie. My main gripe with it is that they didn't go far enough with Evil Batman. To me, they didn't go far enough with Evil Batman, which was a letdown because the concept of evil Adam West Batman is like licensed to print money. It starts off really strong. We're like, he's evil Batman because Catwoman gave him like batnip mixing with Joker's laughing gas, which polluted his mind. We see him fire Alfred. We see him yell at Aunt Harriet. We see him kick Dick out of the house. We see him go to police headquarters and say Gordon and O'Hara are the most competent police officials, which is something that the show always played as a joke, how they would always call on Batman for every problem they had. And Batman would acknowledge that and says, "You guys can never do anything yourselves." So he just fires those two. He brings in because he used the replica ray on himself, so he cloned himself. So, we have Batman Commissioner, we have Batman Chief of Police. He goes to the mayor office, and we have Mayor Batman. And he goes to a bakery, and Chef Shea Batman. Yeah, it's just good. My only thing is that I wanted him to change the city's name from Gotham City to Batman City. I wanted him to have almost like the entire town polluted with Batman, because you still saw some regular Gothamites in there, but I wanted to see Batman just everywhere, as Batman has consumed the entire city. I wanted to see something as over the top and ridiculous as that. I got some of it, but I didn't really get all of it. But with every negative comes very good positives. And one of the positives is, like I said, Robin and Catwoman join forces. They go on to Gotham State Penitentiary and they free some villains to help them take down the evil Batman. And we see cameos from, we see Shame, we see Egghead, we see Siren, we see Louis the Lilac, we see King Tut, Mr. Freeze, the Mad Hatter. We pretty much see all these classic villains from the original 60s Batman show. And then they go to this movie studio where they have this all-out brawl. By the way, during this movie studio fight scene, which was hilarious and awesome, and I'm going to get to it in just a second, in the foreground during all the fighting, you actually see Batman doing the Bat Tootsie with the band in the background, and it's fucking awesome. Loved it. But again, this whole fight scene at the end, the whole big brawl between the villains and the clone Batman is hilarious. Especially with Egghead. I mean, if you look really closely, and the camera zooms on it too, you see like when Egghead has his cartons of eggs open, you see every single like egg gadget that's on there, like egg gas or something like that, which was a nice little touch and it was fucking amazing to see. Of course, you see Sandman, and when he goes up with Jack, he's taking all his potions and stuff like that. Of course, Mr. Freeze with the ray gun. They're using the I don't remember which Mr. Freeze they were using. I think they're using the Eli Welsh. No. I think they're using auto, the forgot his name, Preminger's Mr. Freeze, because he has the orange hair. I could be wrong. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that whole brawl was great, and of course you see Alfred, who in classic, Batman '60s form was like, oh, if Mr. Wayne was ever be captured or turned evil, he gave me strict instructions to make a potion to counteract all those things. So it was like that. Of course, Batman had the end, and of course Alfred gave Batman the end. It was got him good again. However, before I go on, I gotta mention this one little thing first. Batman and Robin have a little brawl inside the Batcave, in which they're throwing every single Bat gadget under the sun at each other, like Batman laughing gas, Batman anti-laughing gas, Batman bomb, Bat shield. Shit was hysterical. I loved it. And of course, then we go to the end. We find out that the reason why Penguin, Riddler, and Joker used this did all this stuff because they wanted to distract Batman by turning him evil, so that they can rob the riches of Gotham with paintings and rare artifacts and things of that nature. Which gets us to the big climactic scene on this plane blimp or whatever, and this is hysterical. When Riddler falls off the thing, he lands on a dress, and he flat on a cop car. The Penguin falls into like a fish market, and the Joker gets thrown into a circus. And of course, Catwoman, who is refusing to go to jail, pretty much sacrifices herself by falling into a vent, much to the chagrin of Batman. And it's actually a real dark moment of the movie. And I love the image of Batman kneeling down in sadness with Robin just like looking into the city itself, and you got Batman who's kneeling like this, and Robin who's just like that. It's a really cool, dare I say, nearly traditional Gothic version of Batman that you saw for just a brief moment in this movie, which I thought was a nice little touch. And then, of course, that's essentially the end of the movie. Of course, Batman, Robin, they go home. They pretend that the whole thing was a ruse for Anne Harriet, who is having a surprise party. And then, of course, they get the call. Dick and Bruce do their famous, we have to go on a ski trip excuse to go play as Batman and Robin, and that's how the movie ends. So yes, in case you haven't noticed, I love this movie a lot. I give it a solid 9 out of 10, and the reason why I give it a 9 out of 10 is because they didn't take it far enough with evil Batman. Other than that, this movie is fantastic. The writing is great, the acting is awesome. Hearing Adam West, Burt Ward, and Julie Newmar as Batman, Robin, and Catwoman in the present day is always a treat, and something that we should not take for granted, because these actors are old, and unfortunately we lost Adam West, but we still got Burt Reynolds. We still got Burt Ward and Julie Newmar, which that's good to itself. So like I said, 9 out of 10. Movie is amazing. If you have not seen this, and if you call yourself a fan of Batman and just a fan of Adam West Batman, you're really doing yourself a disservice by not checking this out, because this is a beautiful love letter to an awesome, campy, zany show, and probably now regarded as one of the most respected Batman, the Adam West Batman. Well, that is my review of Batman the Caped Crusaders. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you again next time for more content.